All right, this is a two-part tutorial for Logan Hall's video switcher and such. And they've been asking, due to the increased attendance, to start showing the cameras on the screen. Now, I didn't turn the projectors on for this demonstration, but we're all aware of their size. So what you really need to be doing is, if you're going to show the cameras on the projector, you need to be getting a lot closer. So I have this center camera, which has the best picture shown, and this is how close you can get. So you can see that's pretty close. Now it's going to be very difficult to follow the passers when you're this close, but I just wanted to show you that you can get that close. So head and shoulders is going to look best on the projectors in here. But what I would do is stay on that head and shoulder shot about 75% of the time, and then the other 25% of the time. Again, this is only when you're showing the camera on the projector. The rest of the service, you can follow different rules. But in general, when I've watched your live stream, I've noticed you tend to favor not getting close enough. And really, especially if someone's watching on their phone at home, having the face much tighter is going to look a lot better. It's going to make people feel connected to the worship service much better the closer you get. So try to stay on a close-up of whoever's speaking as much as possible, and then cut away to wide shots, or say like a waist up or head to toe shot from time to time. But then here's how you switch what goes to the projectors. And it isn't perfect, but it does work. And it is on the 2024 project list to improve the quality on this. So I have a slide up on ProPresenter on this TV. So this TV is always going to match exactly what goes to the projectors, and it's controlled by this device right here. It says Kramer on it. And if we get closer, you can see right now Mac Mini is lit up. So that's the ProPresenter second monitor on the Mac feed. Okay? But then if you go over here, you'll see there's a button labeled switcher. So if we push that, the switcher, whatever's coming out of the switcher on program, which is the same thing that's going to the live stream, will also go to the projectors. Again, I don't have the projectors on, but this television is going to show you the same thing. So I'm going to pull out my hand a little bit, and I'm going to push the switcher button, and you'll see it does kind of take a second for it to switch, but it does switch eventually to the camera on the switcher, and now whatever is coming out of the switcher is gonna go to the projectors. And you can see that this red light is lit. I will say that in the past, switching this button did mess up ProPresenter, toggling back and forth, but that is not the case anymore. You can see ProPresenter is still working just fine. And then we can push Mac Mini. And again, it does take it a moment to switch because the resolution is different between the two things, and it switches, and that'll switch to the projectors. So I recommend whenever you're doing that you stay as close as possible to the person speaking on camera, so that they are bigger on the screen than they are in the room. If the person on the projector is smaller than they are to your naked eye in person, then there's not really a point in putting the cameras on the projector. So that is my recommendation, that if you want to start doing IMAG, which is to say putting the cameras up on the projectors, you can do that. Now, the other thing I'll go ahead and make note of is when we're on the switcher here, you can still switch to CG just as you did do on the live stream. So for instance, right now, I'm getting the switcher feed and I'm holding the keyboard in my hand, but if I need to take a graphic like an announcement to the projector, you just switch to the graphic just like anything else. And then it's pretty seamless, just like it would be on the live stream. So you need to think about, if you're going to start doing this, you need to you need to stay in one mode or the other for a long extended period of time because it's not seamless. So again, I don't know how the flow of your worship service goes, but my recommendation would be for most of the service, keep ProPresenter on the projector. But for any long speaking sections, such as the pastor's sermon, I would switch to the switcher on this device. And then for all the graphics for the pastor's sermon, the video director will switch to the graphics. So what you need to keep in mind is if you're doing that, the person running the ProPresenter is probably going to need to be, like if Pastor Roberto is talking and talking and talking for a long time before he gets to his scripture reference, the person running ProPresenter should kind of be like one slide ahead while you're waiting for him to actually read the slide. So I know you haven't been doing this before, but it's a little bit, I'm probably overcomplicating it in my explanation, but that's my recommendation. So during the long worship portions, stay on ProPresenter to the projectors. During long speaking portions, put the switcher on the projectors. And then if there are graphics to show during the speaking, they get switched from the switcher. And then after the sermon, if there's more worship or what have you, then toggle back to Mac Mini on this device. It's called a scaler. So I call this the scaler, and I call that device over there the video switcher. So that is how this works.